Oh, hey, what's up?
Sorry, I'm in a ranked game. I was fucking raging.
Yeah? What do you play? Oh, hold on, wait. I know what you play. Hold on. It's a 50-50 right now. You are probably jungle?
I am jungle. God damn it.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, sorry. So yeah, I was waiting. I was gonna get some more advice from you. I got some good advice from you like a month ago about this job I was doing. I was switching from nights to days or whatever.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
Not super good. But now I'm running to the issue where my family kind of grew up poor, and they just keep now they're like borrowing a lot of money from me, and I don't know how to say no.
Big mistake.
Yeah,
Don't
so I
loan
don't
money
know
to
how
family.
to.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's a good way to not do that without feeling terrible about myself?
You
and
have to
not
cut your
going back?
entire family out of your life.
That's it, really? Just cut them out?
So, I've had a couple friends that have issues with this, and I'm gonna walk you through like what seems to happen. And if you can find another rich person that can give you different advice, then listen to them, okay? But this is unfortunately what seems to be the case. At some point, what you have to do is you have to start setting boundaries with your family, saying that you're not going to lend them money anymore. But for them, it's going to be very difficult for them to accept that because they want the money and they know you have it. So they're going to start to get resentful and upset about you not lending them money. You can try to make up some excuses about, like, well, I've got to pay taxes, I've got this bill, I'd low liquidity at the moment, whatever the fuck. They'll accept that maybe once or twice, but after a while, they're going to get resentful and they're going to want more money from you. You're going to say no, that resentment's going to grow, and eventually there's going to be a divide where they're going to stop talking to you because they're going to constantly bring it up and hound you over it. You're not going to want to talk to them about it. They're going to get shitty over it. And then it seems like the relationship breaks apart. If there's like a way to avoid that and somebody else has figured it out, it'd be great. But I feel like I have a lot of friends that became like reasonably wealthy, and this is like a big issue that they deal with the rest of their family. That basically the rest of their family starts to feel like entitled to their money, and that yeah. To be clear, this isn't my family. Sorry, I don't want to give the impression that my family does this, but I've had other people who have come to do this. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not like rich. I mean, I make more than like most people, but like I make enough now to like help them out a little bit, but it's just like steadily increasing.
Yeah. Customer service thing I learned. Wait, what do you do for work?
Pharmaceuticals.
Okay, you have no idea about this then. But like for service,
I worked since high school, like
sure. Okay.
customer service.
On a shitty service job, if you're dealing with a customer and you do something nice for a customer, there is no such thing as doing anything nice for a customer. What you're actually doing is you're raising the expectation on the next encounter. So if you give a customer a free cheesecake, they're not going to see that as a free cheesecake. In their mind, they're thinking they're entitled to free cheesecakes every single time they come back, and that's what's going to happen. For a family, if you lend them some money, they're not going to see it as like a one-time thing that was a gift. They're going to see it as you extending them a line of credit that they can continually borrow upon and hopefully raise the limits of later on in the relationship. And it sucks, but like it seems like that's how most people seem to function.
Yeah, I've been trying to like do this like self-improvement thing, like try and live outside of my shell, and like, you know, that's why I did this new job. It's harder, but whatever. But like, isn't there something to be said about giving back? Like I was raised by a single mom, like
I mean, you
it's
can give
just me,
back a
her, and
little
my
bit.
brother,
Just like be aware that like you're giving gifts and that's it. Don't ever loan money to family with the expectation of getting it back. Like,
oh yeah, I don't get it back ever. But
Destiny has so little real life experience. Whenever he talks like this, it kills me. Last stand in YouTube chat. What did I just say that wasn't right? I don't even think I've said anything controversial. These are all basic takes about loaning family members money and about becoming wealthy and family members wanting to borrow from you. But please let me know what I'm so unbelievably off on right now. Like, I don't even think I've said anything controversial at this point. Sorry, go ahead.
how do you feel the need to? Why do you think you feel the need to like defend yourself against these like people who clearly don't know anything about you?
Well, if I don't say anything, then the sentiment will grow. I've got to strike it down in the womb. Okay.
I guess. So basically, just cut my family off. There's a small universal chance that I might ruin my relationships with them, or they might stay. But
I mean,
worst
like
case,
cutting them off is harsh, but I'm saying you can have like a frank conversation with them, but like the people that would borrow money like this and be kind of like inconsiderate are probably not the type of people to respond well to a mature conversation about you setting financial boundaries. So just be ready for that to happen. But I mean, realistically, that's all you can do, or you'll just be a bitch for them forever, where they'll just keep asking you for money.
Okay. Another hypothetical situation. If I may intrude.
Go for it, yeah.
So say there is someone who is doing a relationship with their supervisor, but the supervisor initiated it. Is this something that they should not do? Purely hypothetical.
I mean, who the fuck? Are you asking me from like a professional point of view, personal point of view, or what?
Both, I guess. Because I mean, professionally, shouldn't the subordinate be protected, right? If there's some kind of like malfeasance, if something comes up.
I mean, talk to report it to HR and document it if you need to, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what the procedure is for dating subordinates to superiors. Like, you might need to go and declare it. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it depends on the policy.
You know, not me.
What?
Not me, just hypothetically.
Sure, hypothetically, yeah.
Okay,
yeah, I mean,
cool.
that's all you can do, right? Yeah.
Going forward, should we even keep our tier 5s? DGG is dying, slowly bleeding out. What do we do?
I don't know, man. Movie chats are going as strong as ever, okay? DGG is vibrant and thriving.
All right. Love you, buddy. Thanks.
Be careful, babe. Hello.
Hello.
What's up, buddy?
What's going on? Let me mute your thing real quick. All right. I would like to talk about the Lizard Lady airplane situation. Did you hear about that?
The lizard lady. I heard about the. You mean the lady who was like, that man is not real or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw it.
Some type of illegal substance. Shrooms, acid.
Are you asking me if I thought she took some type of illegal substance?
Yeah, I've only done edibles, so I have very limited experience with drugs.
I don't think so. I would because like generally you don't like hallucinate that hard on like LSD or MDMA or on mushrooms. You're not gonna like see things that aren't there. That's not really what happens. But maybe it could have fucked her state of mind up so hard. She also could have had like untreated or undiagnosed like schizophrenia or something maybe too. But I don't know.
Can you imagine a worse place to be to have a bad trip than a fucking airplane?
Yes.
You can? What would be a worse place to be to have a bad trip than an airplane?
An airplane that's already taken off.
The airplane was in the air, I think.
Wait, no shot, was it? I thought that they were still grounded.
And I'm pretty sure they were flying. They were flying and she was sitting next to someone who she thought was a lizard.
I think she was escorted off the plane. That's what I thought.
Oh, it wasn't. Okay, I'm wrong. I'm
No,
wrong.
at
least she had the
Yeah.
at least she had the panic attack before the plane was in the air, because that's crazy. Maybe it was that Twilight Zone episode that creeped me out with the monster on the wing. But I can't imagine a worse place to have a bad experience than on an airplane in the air.
Yeah, seems like it'd be pretty bad, yeah.
All right, what is your exit strategy for your meta stock?
Bro, I don't know. That stock is just like printing me money right now.
It's killing me money. I have a pretty big short on it, and it's
you.
making me mad that you're making so much money and I'm losing so much money. So I was just curious on your exit strategy. Like, when do you plan to dip? You looking for long-term capital gains, or?
I'm already at my long-term capital gains, but the stock is just like, oh my god, it's at 315. Jesus, what did I get in at? Like 170?
Yeah, I think I have like a 10% short on it now.
I mean, it's probably going to drop. I mean, it depends on what the terms of like. For shorts, are they called contracts, or is that only for puts? Or puts and calls, or whatever the fuck.
Nah, it's not a contract. I can exit out at any time.
Hold on, I'm curious what I bought at. Fucking Vanguard is lagging. I don't care. Yeah, I don't know. This stock has been insane for me, so I'm just kind of holding on.
I'd like to talk about a lot of different things. Kick me out whenever you want. But do you remember the game Phantasy Star? You mentioned a while ago that you played Phantasy
I did, but
Star.
I'm not going to be able to tell you which, because there was like fucking 10 Phantasy Stars, right?
The very first one for the Sega Master System.
Mm-hmm.
When
I
that
might
game
have played
launched,
that one. Yeah, go on.
it was $80. I don't know if people remember this. It was $80 in like 1989. And now video games are still like $60 to $70.
Yeah, I feel like adjusted for inflation. I want to say that like wasn't it like the PS1, Nintendo 64? I think these are some of the most expensive consoles of all time. I think.
Yeah, I think Sega CD is probably the most expensive. I think it was $399 when it launched way back then.
Yeah, and now that's like the same cost as the PS5, right? Like with inflation and shit, like it's insane.
Yeah, it's a crazy concept of how cheap video games are today, considering what they used to cost back in the day. And it's kind of crazy that the prices have increased. Sure, I get that they have more customers now and they're able to sell at a larger volume, but it's really crazy to me that they're still only $60 and people complain when they raise it up to 70. It's almost like they don't understand how inflation works.
Maybe I don't understand. I don't understand like entitled consumer brains at all. I just don't get it. Yeah, like you'll play a game and complain about the price, and then you'll play that game for like 400 hours, and it's like video games are probably some of the lowest cost to like enjoyment ratio that you'll get out of anything in society. And the fact that like people get so hell bent over like a $10 increase in price, even like $100 standard for video games would be more than acceptable. Like Call of Duty being $100, like people will complain about like if it was $100, people would lose their fucking mind. But if you go and you look, like the average COD player is like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours in like in any of these Call of Duty games, and it's like if you play a game for 400 hours and you spent $100 on it, what is this, like 25 cents an hour for entertainment? Like where are you ever getting anything in society that's even remotely close to that value? Right? Look at how much you spend on like movies. Look at how much you spend in fucking arcades. Look at how much you spend in like a meal, like anything else, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And a game like Elden Ring, which is universally praised and give you like 100 hours, being $60 is just insane. And on that, I'll piggyback. People have been talking about crime. I think it was Anna Kasparian on Tim Pool's channel talking about crime rates, and they were saying things like lead in the gas caused a increase in crime, and when they got rid of lead in the gas, it caused a decrease in crime. But I have a completely different theory. Video games started to become mainstream right in the 90s, and almost all crime is committed by males between the age of 15 and like 25. Instead of going out and committing crime, I think all those males just started playing video games. I think video games
that could be the case, except I'm pretty sure video games are like disproportionately for like more middle class people, no, who aren't probably the crime committers.
I don't think so. My family was extremely poor, and we would all pool our resources together. Well, I guess I lived in like a small Mormon community, so I had tons of cousins all around, but we would all pool our money together. So my family would buy Sega, another family would buy Nintendo, and we would just constantly play video games. And also they would go over to their friends' house that have video games. So instead of like joining a gang and doing all this criminal shit, they would just go to people's houses and play video games.
Yeah, I do remember that. Even in the poor years of like the place we used to go to this summer, like there was like one kid with an apartment that had like a Nintendo 64, and like everybody would go to his house.
Oh yeah,
the only thing that would suck is like sharing the controller and shit, or like having to give it up after
GoldenEye tournaments all night. I personally think that video games played a huge role in the reduction in crime, because when you look at all the different statistics, video games seem to be a very good starting point because it correlates perfectly. And you can look at things like Australia when they banned guns. It was around the same time that video games started to become popular. Their crime rate declined at pretty much the exact same rate as America's crime rate that didn't ban guns. And the crime rate universally declined in the 90s everywhere where video games were prevalent. In places like Africa that didn't have access to video games, their crime rates didn't see the same level of decline. So if it was lead in the gasoline, Africa's crime rates would have declined at the exact same rates, unless they were still using leaded gasoline, but I don't think they were.
Well, you should go publish some research on this. Maybe you can be the next big crime solver, you know?
Yeah, unfortunately, there's no data for me to have on that. Okay, you had that conversation with those religious people. Well, not religious. Those anti or pro-choice people.
True.
And whenever I talk to pro-choice people, it seems like they're only pro-choice because they're religious. They have to be pro-choice. Right? Yeah, sorry, I'm saying the wrong word here.
You're good.
Pro-life. I think they only are pro-life because they're religious. So they're automatically pro-life, so they have to justify them being pro-life because the religion says they have to be pro-life. Have you ever met an atheist that is pro-life or a religious person that is pro-choice?
I mean, not generally. These are pretty grouped together. I used to be a pro-life atheist, I guess, but generally speaking, no, these like kind of run together, right?
But weren't you, you said you were pro-life atheist, but weren't you religious, and then you learned and you became not religious, and then you continue to learn, and then you became pro-choice.
Yeah, but my pro-life arguments were very much not religious arguments. It was just like defining the start of like a human. But in general, what you're saying is right.
Yeah. I was just asking you because you have a much larger sample size of people you can talk to than myself, and I've never come across anyone who is pro-life and atheist, or atheist and pro-choice.
Maybe. It's probably going to depend on the,
Alright.
the strength of their religious convictions too, because there's a lot of like quote-unquote Christians that like aren't super practicing that would probably be more likely to be pro-choice, right?
Yeah. Okay, last time we talked... Well, first off, I want to say congratulations on the kit contract. That's awesome. I also think you did very well in Fresh and Fit for that environment, because people like Nick Fuentes are only dangerous when they don't have someone next to them to point out how stupid they are.
For the
me, I think
first debate
somebody-
or the second debate?
Both, actually. The second one was out of control because of Zerka, but even so, like, just pointing out that Nick Fuentes is basically saying nothing, or he's saying like a 90% truth and then tacking on a 10% bullshit at the end.
Sure. I think the first one was like 50-50, but I think the issue is that because the subject matter is like pretty important, 50-50 doesn't feel very satisfying. The second one I think went better, but we didn't really debate much serious stuff because it was like the relationship podcast.
Yeah. But even so, people like Nick Fuentes are only dangerous when they're siloed into their own little community. And even so, the people that are in that community typically have no power. Most of the world is governed by a very small percentage of people.
True. We know what kind of people too, right?
That is not what I'm saying, but I think most humans on this planet are just here to live their life the best they can until they die and not actually make an impact on the world. The people that make impact on the world are very few and far between. And for Nick Fuentes to be someone to make a large impact on the world is pretty rare, and I think the only way that would ever happen is if he was banned from all platforms and was able to build a massive following underground and just silo himself off from all criticism because no one's willing to talk to him. And I don't think that relegating him to the dark zone is a good idea. And that Mr. Girl guy kept trying to tell you that just ignoring him and not talking to him was the right move. And I couldn't disagree with that line of thinking any more aggressively. So I appreciate the fact that you're willing to go on there and have these people attempt to ridicule you, which might work for some like less intelligent people. They think that you're taking an L when really it just makes them look stupid to people with a little bit more world experience.
Mm-hmm.
So you could sit there and almost say nothing and it just makes him look bad because of just how stupid he is. Not stupid, he's intelligent in the way he can manipulate, but just his manipulation tactics.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it helps a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.